Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to Red Hot Talk once again. Quite a few people already commented. I'm excited to see that. Okay. Rod, you and I just came back from TPS, the photography show Birmingham. So we're going to talk a little bit about that because it was... First of all, it was very busy, probably the busiest I've seen in the last few years. So that's really a good sign. For many angles, where there's going to be camera interest, sales, and things like that. But we did notice a couple of things. Of course, like you see the thumbnail. We want to talk a little bit about AI because we did some talks. We interviewed a couple of photographers. We discussed about the impact of AI, and we had a very good, interesting discussion. Rod and I both had the same thing. And then we're going to briefly talk a little bit about what we observed from the show, what sort of maybe little trends that we saw, that may translate into what's going to happen in the next 12 months. So there's quite a few things to discuss, not majorly so, but I think it's going to be quite interesting to briefly or to debrief in our encounter to you guys.
Yes.
But just see some comment from here first. Rob Mills, hello from Devon. Finally, you got some sunny weather.
Yeah.
We have some sun here in London. What about you, Rod? You got sun as well?
Yeah, we've got sun here as well. We're not so very far away from Devon, so we've probably got a bit of Rob's weather as well. But yeah, it's quite nice here.
Oh,
very nice, very pleasant.
Yeah, definitely feeling more springy now. I already see the cherry blossom are really going like full bloom now. So this really the season for those kind of photography if you're into colors, and this is really, really nice. Right. Okay. So we just kickstart the whole kind of conversations now. So we met with Alan. He obviously was introducing his app, and but we within the conversation talk about his app. He mentioned a little bit about AI and that how he felt about it very strongly, to say the least. And then we met with obviously Simon Harris, and then we had a long talk about the AI stuff.
Mark Harris.
Yeah, Mark Harris. Sorry,
Mike
Harris.
Yeah.
Yes.
My colleague, ex-colleague, the Future. Yeah. Mike. Yeah, he's a really nice guy, but he's got some thoughts on AI as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to gauge from your own kind of experience and maybe your comments as well, and I would like to hear from all of you what you think about where we're heading now, because I think that it's certainly worth to have a discussion about it. What I want to say is, first of all, is whether you like it or not, AI is here to stay, and I don't think we can avoid it. But how can we deal with them as a photographer? Rod, after all the discussion we had at TPS, and what's your general feeling about the current direction or current infusion of AI in literally everything that we are doing now as photographers?
Well, I think the photographers we spoke to have a fairly clear position on it. They think the kind of photography they're interested in is about things that actually exist, that actually happen. I mean, I think everyone is quite wary about how the photography landscape might change.
Yeah.
But I think they all feel there's a definite distinction between what a photographer does and what you might say a digital artist does, or somebody involved in commercial photography.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's going to be driven by what the customers want.
Of course.
What the viewers want and what the public wants.
But I guess that's the dangerous part. I mean, in my eyes, anyway, because for the initiated, the one who been trained as a photographers from an old school kind of way. We learn our exposures, we learn everything. Some of you may even started with analog photography, and those will be the one who will be fairly strongly against AI in many ways. But the newer generations, the one that are starting to learn about photography, they literally grew up with a flat screen, so they don't even know the what type of camera, the SLR. They don't even have a clue what SLR was. I mean, all they know is that using a smartphone, things that with a flat screen, everything with touch on the screen, that kind of photography. And they're so used to the AI processing as well, because every smartphone that we use now, one way or the other, that's been processed heavily. And so in that kind of way, I think the younger generations wouldn't mind at all. You know, they're so used to seeing that kind of images.
I'm not quite sure, because I think even people who don't know much about cameras understand a clear distinction between reality and AI generated images. You know, you don't have to be a photographer or an expert to work that out. I think it's interesting though that the smartphones are now making the world look how we want it to look. They've kind of gone beyond cameras, haven't they? We take HDR for granted, which is kind of one step towards creating an ideal reality. But you know, if your phone can start removing things you don't like on the spot, sooner or later it'll be doing that without asking you. Or it'll be in the basic settings. Do you want the camera to remove things that shouldn't be there? So I think before very long, our phones are going to take stuff out that it thinks we won't want.
Oh, I would be one of the first ones who chuck that kind of technology away. I don't think I could live with that kind of technology. But I mean, I think it's kind of interesting to have that thought though, when you talk about smartphone creating images that is more realistic to what we want to see. Well, I mean,
it's they may reach a point where they're showing us an idealized version of the world, not the one that's actually there. The fantasy world we'd like to live in.
But a lot to do with the actual how they process the HDR, right? You know, traditionally, remember when HDR first came about in digital photography, a lot of over processed HDR does look a little bit weird in my eyes. I never really liked those HDR images.
No.
But with smartphone, especially for the last 5 years, they have advanced so much. They somehow made, you know, the smart HDR images looks pretty convincing, you know, while not overly so. Yeah. Especially, you know, having a small sensor like the smartphone sensor, they manage to preserve a lot of the shadows and the highlight details. So that's how human eyes see things.
Yeah, I think HDR is probably quite an example of older tech that's not really AI related. That's kind of come in, but it does show that phone makers are very much trying to give us the images we expect, rather than necessarily the ones that are there. But you can, I'm not quite sure how it varies from one phone to another, but you can have portrait modes that blur backgrounds, and you can have filters to make you look, soften the skin, make you look better.
Of course.
So,
but I mean, I think we can look at AI in multiple ways though as well. In this discussion, you know, we can look at from the image taking side or the image generating side, and then we can look at the operational side. You know, because AI, like I said, AI is kind of everywhere now, and then we got to talk a little bit about the post production side, because we literally have AI. With literally neural engines built into the chipset itself within the digital camera to process certain signals, and then we have AI features, and within cameras, and then during the post-processing edit, we now have all kinds of AI stuff, AI masking, AI this and AI this.
It's two very different kinds of AI, though. There's AI designed to make things easier and simpler. So AI masking, AI subject recognition, and so on. They're not changing reality. They're just making stuff easier and quicker than it was before. But then there's generative AI. They're both AI, but this is completely different. This is for generating reality or altering reality using AI. That I think is the part that most people are going to be worried by. I don't think anyone minds if your noise reduction software uses AI, because it's just a tool. But if your phone or your software is making it so easy to change reality, then that's what I think is a cause for concern.
Yeah. But certainly, I don't think anyone would disagree or have any opposition to to AI in the operational side of it, making our lives easier. You know, the subject recognition and certain features are definitely very useful. And I don't think I have any problem with that. But I think when it comes to editing, and that's when things got a little bit hazy. You know, if you're just generally using like noise reduction, that's fine. You're just enhancing the photo quality. Is when we're starting to having generative AI, I think that probably is the biggest biggest wormhole there. You know, like, where do you draw the line when it comes to generative AI?
I think though, I wonder whether we're misreading who's going to get this technology, because what's happening is that now that the generative AI companies have got their foot in the door, they're starting to charge for it, and it's not cheap. So well, I mean, I don't know what it costs. How does ChatGPT work? So I don't use it. Do you need a subscription and then you get so many credits and you can create images?
I believe so. I'm not a user or paid user for ChatGPT, so I'm not entirely sure how the pricing works. But so I do know it has a certain number of credits, I believe.
So this is the thing. You do have to pay for generative AI. And I think that's never become clearer than with Adobe's setup via its AI Firefly platform, where you can use Adobe's Firefly, or you can use ChatGPT or Google Gemini as alternative AI models. They use a lot of credits, and I'm starting to think that generative AI is actually more likely to be a professional tool for design studios than it is for the consumer, because it's not going to be, it's certainly not free, and it's probably not going to be cheap.
No, but that's the world that we're heading. It's something that we probably want to discuss a little bit more in just a moment as well, about the prices. I mean, the actual cost of it, and because we have been spoiled with a lot of freebies for the last couple of years, and Rod and I actually talked about it at the show. Is that like they literally basically trying to lure us into this wonder world of AI, and then now we not all of us do, but then some of us definitely like thinking that we can't live without it now. We've been using it for so long, and everything's so cool and fantastic, and we're slowly starting to see that they're capping it. Exactly. Oh yeah, you're gonna have 10 credits now. That's all that you can have per month, free.
Well, if you're on a regular Adobe photography plan, I would need to check my fact here, but I think you get something tiny like 20 credits a month. If you use them up, and you have to wait till the next month. But Adobe is selling a kind of add-on AI credit subscription for about $10 or £10 a month, which you can then. So, but it just means another subscription and more cost. So I think it's going to become a kind of, it's more a professional tool than it is an amateur tool, I think now, because then professionals can just do a cost-benefit analysis and work out if it's worth it. But it's not the free thing we thought it might be.
No, but at the same time, even though that it may sound, what you said was right. I mean, it can be a professional tool, but at the same time, even for professional, I think that now they see the cost of it, they might actually starting to discipline themselves a little bit more, instead of just purely relying on the the generative AI to remove certain thing or alter something.
Well, it depends. It depends on a number of things, I think. So one of the dangers for professionals and design studios is that at the moment, generative AI is very effective at mocking up a pitch or a proposal to take to a client and say, do you like this? This is how we're going to do it. Give us some money and we'll do the thing properly, with cameras and everything. The danger is, if the AI gets too good, the client's going to look at the AI pitch and say, do you know what? This is good enough. Thanks. Bye. I think it's very likely. It is. I mean, speaking of which, I mean, one thing that I don't know who we spoke to talked about it, and it's an interesting thing, and I do starting to notice quite a bit. Before the AI images kind of like swarm the world of social media, when we see images, if it's a nice image, it's like, wow, that's a fantastic photograph. That's a really nice one. But these days, if the images or the photograph is nice,
people would just assume it's AI generated without even like really trying to study it or trying to think about it. And I have a lot of really good photographer friends who are just brilliant on what they do. They have like really fantastic landscape, street photography shots. They post it on social media. The first 10 comments were AI rubbish, AI this and AI that. Is it how the world is now seeing things now? Anything is nice is, defaulted to AI. It's AI. It's not real.
Well, no, I think that the audience is quite cynical and quite untrusting.
Yeah.
And this is, I guess we've all been made that way because of the number of different ways that the manufacturers and companies try to fool us. But maybe we'll reach a point where everyone says that's an amazing photograph, pity it's AI, on the assumption that it is AI. So then we'll all start producing images with deliberate imperfections. But before very long, you'll have AI models that can reproduce imperfections. So, so I don't quite know where it will end. But I wouldn't assume we'll always be able to tell the difference between real images and AI. But we might arrive at a situation where consumers need to be able to see proof that something is real and not AI. If there's some way that can be done. Yeah.
And also another thing, since we kind of mentioned about the cost of AI, right? We literally just started talk a little bit before the stream started between Rod. I told Rod, many of you may or may not realize all the memory cards, all the SD cards, CF Express, all of this memory cards has gone up in price. And I'm not just saying a little bit, significant amount. And from what I've just seen now, I went onto Amazon just half an hour ago. I got a price tracker plugin on my browser. All the memory costs on average has gone up by 74% in the last 30 days. So memory costs that you used to see, about £80 will now cost you about £150. And that is something that we have to deal with. And the reason why is because AI companies are snapping up all these NAND chips, memory chips, and not just these as well, even normal storage. Hard drives has gone up more than double in the last 12 months, and because they need storage for all the AI models. So they are snapping up left, right, and center everything they can get hold of at the moment. So the market has kind of gone a bit AY and has a knock-on effect to us photographers. So we're not just talking about we have to buy credit for using the AI models in our software, but we also paying the price for memories, for storage as well.
We can't just blame generative AI in photography though.
No,
it's generative AI for video, because every time you do Google search, it's using an AI data center, and apparently AI searches use 10 times the energy of a regular search. So I doubt very much that Google is going to have a little checkbox or a button that says don't use AI for search results. If it did, we could perhaps protect the environment a little more by not having Google AI summaries, or just swap to a browser or a search engine that doesn't use AI.
I just saw Chuck's comment here: when AI market collapses, it will all sell used for cheap. You know what? In some way, I'm actually hoping it to happen sooner than later.
I can just see you driving over to a data center before it's knocked down and coming back with a truck full of hard drive arrays, and then you've got to find where to put them in your garden.
Robert says the same thing, and everything's gone up. I was about to buy more hard drive. I mean, luckily I did score some cheaper one just before the really massive price hikes, and I still want to upgrade a few more hard drives, but I'm gonna hold fire for now. I mean, I got enough for what I use for maybe next couple of years, but let's see how the world goes at the moment. We just don't know at this moment in time, but things has gone crazy in prices.
It's strange, isn't it? For quite a few years, we just got used to storage being cheap. Maybe not so much if you need SSD for its speed, but we stopped worrying about hard drive space. But now suddenly we're worried again. So
But even
Yeah.
SD cards, and SD card used to be like really cheap. You just
Well,
you just go and buy it.
the fast ones maybe not so cheap, but yes, I take the point.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
when you
But
go
that-
up by
but I mean-
74%, like even like a £30 becomes like £50 now. So it's, you know,
But
it's
how
all
many
gone
how
up.
many of us use ChatGPT, for example? You know, that's a search engine as well. Or
Yep.
we use it to polish up a resume for a job
Yeah.
application, or
Yep.
for an internal report, or for a complicated email.
Yep.
It's not just generative AI in photography and video.
Yeah.
It's everyone's using AI, and it's just driving up the cost of the AI and the cost of storage, I guess.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
depending on where you live and whether you're near a data center, probably driving up the cost of water supplies to
Yeah.
your area. That
Yeah.
could happen.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy to think like that. And but I mean, I'm pretty certain that this bubble is at the point of collapsing soon. So
Are you?
well, we just got too many. Well, first of all, we just see so many AI startups, and I can't really imagine all of them will survive. You know, and they're all competing with the same market, and there's
Yes.
there is no differentiation between any of them. They all do practically the same thing. And if you
Yeah.
just open up any app stores now, look at some of these AI apps, you know, whether it's going to be facial enhancement, removal tools, or anything like that. There are literally hundreds of them now. I don't know whether they share the backend of some of the bigger AI companies, probably. But the thing is, no matter how you look at it, there's just a lot of startup, a lot of new companies, a lot of new entities coming out just to do the same thing. And I can't see any of them will be surviving in the long term. So there'll be some sort of
Wow.
consolidation. Only the really good and popular one will survive.
Possibly. But then startups aren't simply to promote the products they sell. They're also an opportunity to gather funds, aren't they? So
Yes,
it's a
Well,
financial
lucky,
speculation as much
lucky
as
that I'm
anything
not
else.
investing in any of them.
So annoyingly, anyone who's got maybe a private pension or some kind of share portfolio or some kind of managed investments may well be investing in AI without knowing it. Because
No,
if you've got a managed
no.
portfolio and you
Yeah,
leave it to your
someone else
broker
did it.
or your agent, yeah. If you've got a couple of dozen different products in your portfolio, I bet none of us really check to see what
No.
they are.
Yeah.
But the other issue is perhaps political. So Anthropics is in a bit of trouble in the US, I believe,
Yeah.
over some suspicion on the part of the US government that it's not a safe. It's not a safe tech company. I don't know the details, but
Yeah.
these things can blow up overnight. So
Well,
I think it could be quite volatile.
we perhaps are old enough to remember the last tech bubbles and then the dot com bubble. Remember that time?
Yeah.
When the world haven't seen like the domain .com, they're like it's almost like a new thing. Anything with the .com at the end is like, whoa, that's a cool thing.
Does anyone remember the whole Y2K fear?
Oh, the Y2K bug.
Yeah,
on the
everyone was building
Windows.
underground bunkers, stocking up on tin food,
Oh my
just
god.
in case the world came to an end. And a lot of companies made a great deal of money out of protecting people against something that didn't happen.
I know.
So
I remember that. There were companies
yeah.
blatantly advertising, "We're going to solve your Y2K bug."
I was employed by a company to help them publish a whole series of guides on year 2000 preparation. Luckily I got paid before year 2000 came and nothing happened. So
Well, but yeah,
Yeah.
we've seen a lot of these stuff, and but anyway, let's go back to the riff. I don't know, we sidetracked
Yeah.
to invest all of a sudden to
that's your
investments in
fault, Jimmy.
companies.
It wasn't me.
But I mean,
But
I think as a photographer, should we really be worried about AI? I think half and half. From how I see it is, I mean, like I said already, from the operational side of it, something that is not relating to generative AI or let the computer creating something almost completely new from nothing, and I'm fine with that. But anything to altered reality and something that transforms something using AI, and I'm a little bit wary about it unless it is more like a commercial stuff. But on the day-to-day things, I'm not too sure.
I mean, let's not forget though that it's not doing anything that a skilled editor couldn't have done anyway.
No,
you could
ever since Photoshop become available.
Yeah, if you know way around a photo editor, you could do all of this stuff anyway.
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
true.
that the resources for doing it are now much more common, and the skill level needed is practically zero. So it can be anyone can do it, and it could be good players and bad players. But
yes, but,
no,
I get your point. But then that's more to do. Let's say from let's say you want to enhance the image, you may want to swap certain parts of it or change some parts of it. But maybe to the more extreme cases, you just use prompt to generate a brand new image that's so realistic that you can't differentiate from reality to the completely computer generated image.
Yeah, but then again, there are states that just use videos that tell complete lies simply by showing a video of a different conflict and saying it's a current conflict.
Yeah.
The means for deceiving have always been there.
Yeah.
It's just that now they're available to everyone, kind of, and they're quite convincing. Yeah,
they are very convincing. So I don't know how everybody feel about it. And personally, I find it harder and harder to really especially that what knows that I recently act as a judge for one of the competitions in the UK. We had the competition had about 14,500 entries, and the organizer told me that there were some AI images. So it is getting a bit more common. We probably heard the news as well. The one of the winners from the Sony Award a couple of years ago was actually an AI manipulated image. So it is happening, and it's getting harder to differentiate some of these images, whether it's going to be real or whether it's fake, and it's quite hard to differentiate them. I know there are starting to have tools now. I think there are some AI, weird enough, there's AI to spot AI.
There's a paradox. Google has AI detection tools, which will help people detect AI images that Google has helped create. That's a neat little circular argument, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll sell you a solution to a problem we've already sold you.
Well, we first create a problem, then we give you the solution afterwards.
Yeah. Double win.
Yeah, that's the thing. Okay, that's interesting. I'll just see something coming from you guys earlier. I'm just gonna scroll back to some of these. So Rob Mill actually here has that. I don't mind some generative AI in edits. For instance, in nature photography, we are often removing branches and other distractions in pose. Well, why not let AI do it?
Well, I mean, that is a perfectly good point. We can't suddenly become very moral about using generative object removal when we've been doing it with cloning tools for like 10 or 20 years. So it would be silly to complain that AI has created this horrible new world when it's only doing what we were doing already ourselves. So
just a bit quicker and maybe a little bit better.
It's if it becomes mainstream and undetectable, and people start using it to deliberately alter reality. I don't think anyone's going to mind if you remove a branch. That doesn't change the meaning of the image.
Yeah, I mean, I think what Rob said is basically true, and it's the method or accessibility now is becoming so mainstream. Because before, like you said, cloning technique has been used for many years. Across the whole photography field, especially for commercial photography, and it's not new at all. But it is now that basically mom and dad, my teenage boys and girls can even do it with a swipe on the phone. You know, that's the difference now. Before, you do have you have to be quite skillful in Photoshop. You know, you may even using a Wacom tablet, you know, just to do that kind of more intricate cloning details and things. But now you just basically highlight an area and the AI will do it for you. So it's certainly now making this type of actions a lot more common and easier to use and to acquire by literally anyone, like you said earlier. So everyone can use it now, not like before. You have to be with intention, very specific.
And you might have had some professional training or some background in imaging that gave you a certain sense of responsibility, say.
Yeah.
That's sort of gone.
So do you think at some point the public is going to get bored of it?
Well, not if you can't tell the difference.
There's
nothing to be bored about if you can't tell. They might get bored. They might just get bored of imagery.
Yeah.
Because they no longer trust it to represent the real world. I don't know what happens then. That becomes very difficult.
Because it's very funny. Last October, that I photographed a very nice lady, and she's an influencer online, so she always like to take these really nice shots early in the morning. So she does make an effort. So when she does want some shot that with no one in the background, she gets up early and do some photos then. But it was that very shoot that I did with her, and she couldn't get into the location very early due to various delays. So the only time we could meet was about 10 o'clock. Not ideal. I mean, we could still make something work, but the worst is that at the location has some sort of demonstration, so there are a lot of people around holding banners and shouting and screaming. No. So like we tried to do something, and then she actually said to me, "Oh, don't worry about it. My editor can remove people and do something, so they can just shoot. I mean, I trust your eyes and with the lights, and I can do the rest basically." And then 2 weeks later, after I delivered the images to her, she came back to me. I can't remove those people. There are too many of them.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The AI does need something to work from.
Yes.
It's like cloning. There's some stuff that's too big to fix.
Yeah, so it really shows that, and AI is very useful to some extent, and if you really want to go down that route, and but at the same time, it doesn't really take away the fundamentals. If you want no one's in the background, to make sure you get up early enough to have actually no one around. One or two odd ones you can remove quite easily.
Perhaps we'll reach a point where it's just cheaper and simpler to take a photograph than it is to use generative AI.
Yeah,
that could happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, people do actually, right? Just take a picture and then they just prompt it using that picture and say, "Impose me into a Big Ben area."
yeah, you can do stuff like that, but will you get fed up of it? I seem to remember in older versions of Photoshop Elements, there are all sorts of tools for blending different. You took a group shot.
Yeah.
And of course, nobody's smiling, has their eyes open at the same time. So you take the picture several times, and it'll merge all the images into one where everybody's smiling and looking at the camera. Yeah. That wasn't AI, but it's a question of how much effort people will go to create an image.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe AI is too much effort.
It is. I mean, it's really interesting as well, because I don't know. Do you know the photographer name by Liam Mann?
No, I don't.
The guy who won the Sony Award 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Where basically he do a very interesting photography. So he does use drone. So he set up the camera on a tripod. And he usually use mountains or hills or something as the frame. And he will fly the drone and use mount a light on the drone and use drone to light paint basically the photograph of the mountain.
Right.
So it's a very intricate and very delicate thing to do, and very hard to control as well. So he mastered this type of photography, and you might actually want to Google his name, Liam Mann. That's his name. and he's very popular on Instagram. I think he's now a Sony ambassador, so he does use Sony camera. I know him personally, and we met a few times and we talked about photography. And recently, his Instagram profile has a very big hashtag, not AI, because I think I bet a lot of people have been commenting his photograph saying that it's AI photograph.
Well, but there's the thing. If you want to deflect all the criticism, just say you don't use AI, even if you do.
Yeah,
you know.
That's the world come down
that?
to now for us photographers. Oh, when you take a nice image, the first people's reaction is, that's got to be AI. That's got to be AI.
Yeah, it's like it's the same for filmmakers for years.
Yeah,
they might. It doesn't matter how much they spend on effects and actors and props. People would say that's computer generated. That's CGI, just because it looks so perfect. So you can't win. You can't win.
No, we can't. We can't. Like I said, I hope this bubble is going to burst and they just kind of bring back the reality a little bit. But at the same time, like I said, we can't avoid it. I mean, AI is going to be here. It's going to be here, and it's going to be here forever. You know, we have learned to live with it. We have to learn to live with it and embrace it in one way or the other. And I have to say, you know, it is useful, especially from an editing point of view. Don't know how many have used Lightroom, and I'm really, really happy now to have like AI masking is really fantastic, and really superb.
That's a different thing, though, isn't it? It's not the same thing at all. It's not changing reality. It's just making something easier.
But what I'm saying is, you know, I don't mind certain type of AI, and that helps my workflow, helps me take photographs, for instance, just not altering it, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I think I seem to remember reading that the latest update to Lightroom puts generative AI tools within Lightroom. I'll have to check.
Yeah,
I haven't checked.
I think they did say something about it. I'm not entirely sure if they're gonna have that in like a proper full feature of it. But it will be interesting to see. But anyway, I'm just going to go back up to a couple of comments here earlier. I think Robert Me also has another comment about the price of the storage. My plan to build the PC has gone up by £700 in a few months.
Yes.
yeah. It's gone a little bit crazy.
I think the cost of storage is kind of brought all of us down to earth in a way. Yeah. And for years and years and years, we haven't worried about using high resolution cameras, shooting RAW, shooting hundreds of images in a burst, all that stuff. We didn't worry because storage was cheap, didn't matter. That suddenly changed quite a lot.
Do you think if this kind of price increase is going to prolong, I mean, it's going to last a little bit longer than anticipated. I'm pretty sure once everything's settled, it's going to come back down a little bit.
Hopefully.
But if this sort of price is going to be like this for longer than anticipated, how would the camera maker feel about the high resolution cameras that they used to sell a lot for?
Well, actually, there aren't really that many high resolution cameras when you work it out. That's something that hasn't really changed for a few years. You've got Fujifilm with 100 megapixel sound Hasselblad.
Yeah.
But after that, you've got Sony with its 61 megapixel full frame sensor. Panasonic and Nikon have 40, is it 42 or 47? Depends on the brand. They're the only ones. Most cameras in use these days are 24 megapixels or less. You've got some exceptions, but I think the world has steadied up at the kind of level of resolution. It isn't really going up on average.
That's interesting to think about. But Fujifilm X mount does have a lot of 40 megapixel cameras too.
Yeah, they are quite big files. Yeah, true. And there are a couple of APS-C 30 megapixel cameras.
Yes,
well, a couple.
And you're gonna be a little bit careful about this AI noise reduction too. But luckily, I think the latest DXO 6 seems to have fixed it.
I've tried it, and actually, I'm getting TNG files smaller than the original RAWs, just a little bit.
Yeah, for those who are not familiar with what Rod is saying, in the past, all the DXO AI noise reduction, pure RAW, we're talking about pure RAW software. When you're trying to use the AI to reduce your noise, it would regenerate a DNG file that's very often is tripling the size of the original raw file. So there's a 20 megapixel file could easily become 80 megapixels. So it's a very huge burden to storage. And so you can describe the next bit now.
Well, the reason for that, my understanding is that in order to apply the noise reduction, it also has to demosaic the raw file. So it has to take all the red, green, and blue pixels and process them to give full color pixel information for each photo site. So you are naturally going to get a file 3 times larger. But DxO seems to have found a particular version of the DNG format, which is quite highly compressed without losing quality. I didn't know there was one, but apparently there is. So now, so that was one of the principal drawbacks to DxO's deep prime raw processing, that if you wanted a raw file at the end of it, it would be 3 or 4 times larger than the one you started with. Now, with version 6, it produces a file that, if anything, is a little smaller. So it sounds like a fairly minor technical difference, but it's got huge implications for people who want to put all their raw files through DxO. Which is not a bad idea now.
No, I think it's a great idea. And speaking of which, and I don't know how many of you have tried or used current Lightroom AI noise reduction tool as well.
Oh yes.
It's basically the same thing. It like pure raw. It generate a new DNG somewhere, you might think, in the system, and it's also very, very big. And you will soon find out in one of your subfolders. And what is this 30 terabyte thing hogging up all the space?
So a few months back. Previously, Adobe's AI noise reduction process produced a new linear DNG file, much like DxO's, anywhere between 2 and 4 times the size of the original raw file, right alongside it in your library. Then Adobe did some special magic, and now it's part of the normal editing tools. So I remember saying to Jimmy a few months back, have they done that? I bet they're hiding that somewhere, that big file. And you're saying you think you found it?
I
found
it
in one of your Lightroom library files.
Yes,
oh dear.
yes.
Oh dear.
You may not notice it if you don't use it that much, but because what I do sometimes, I do noise reduce my some of the images that I took, and because the volume that I shoot. And then I discovered this accidentally because I was editing like last Christmas, and all of a sudden my computer was giving me warning I'm running out of storage. It's like, how could that be? You know, I still have like quite a bit of space in my storage, and why was I going to get this warning? And I suddenly like trying to go through my normal thing. Where is these big files are? And I found one huge file in the Adobe folder. And I was thinking, no, that can't be. Usually the huge file is the preview, right? The preview is fairly big.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you think there's an additional one now?
There is an additional one.
Additional file, right. Okay.
Additional file that holds anything to do with AI. So whether it's going to be anything to do with AI removal, anything to do with AI regeneration, AI noise reduction, they are all stored there. I did not know that. And how did I find out about that? Is when I tried to delete that, right? You know, and when I tried to delete that, and then when I launch, usually what I do, I try to be safe. I put it in the trash can in my Mac. I don't remove it completely, and so I just reopen Lightroom to see what it says. So that's a safer bet. So that's what I did. And Lightroom gave me a warning message. So you seem to have removed your AI folder. So anything that you have done previously with anything AI will be removed. Are you sure? Are you sure about that?
I'll go and investigate my own catalog files. But it sounds like Adobe solved the problem by hiding it. It doesn't quite seem like solving it, but I'll investigate.
I think that is a very, very cheeky way to do this.
Who knew?
Yeah. I mean, unless you have like a very large storage in your computer, I don't think you will actually find out until the point that you're like me, you're like reaching to the point
you have to go and look.
You run out.
Like say, normally it's previews. You wonder why you're running out of space, and the preview file is absolutely colossal.
Yes, but I
But
tend to set mine to remove every day the preview.
do you? Do you?
Yeah.
But then it makes Lightroom slower because you keep going back to images where it's got to regenerate previews.
I know I'm
So
fine with that because I tend to process my photo, give it to my client within a day.
yeah,
So I just move on to the next stuff. Instead of hogging up my storage, I just keep doing it.
yeah. So I guess we're all gonna have to start economizing on storage now
Yeah,
until this
well,
particular
especially the
thing
price of
goes
them are
over.
going.
Well, even before that, SSD storage was not really coming down much in price,
Yeah,
and it is expensive in the first place. So we'll see.
yeah,
We'll see.
yeah. We shall see. We shall see. Okay, but let's talk about something else now. We had a lot of discussions on AI, and you actually will see the interview that, when we spoke to Mike Harris in my
Yeah.
channel very soon. I'm going to put them all the interviews that we did with various brands, various people that we spoke to, so you can learn a little bit about things that we discussed. A lot of these are journalists and professional photographers, so you can hear a lot of their view on different things. So it's not just about AI. You know, we have talks about different matters, so to speak.
Well, we also had an interesting chat with Antonio Rico, didn't we?
Yes, we did. We did. Yes.
A professional street photographer.
Yeah.
And this is a very different philosophy. Street photography, it's
Yep.
all about capturing what's real and actual, rather than trying to create a kind of idealized view of the world. So it's interesting. There's a wide range of approaches and beliefs out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that for me, I mean, I'm more aligned with Antonio's vision when
Yeah.
it comes to street photography. That's
Yes.
so I was quite enjoying that conversation that we had there. So that was
Yes.
good. So
Yeah.
stay tuned for that. And he's quite a nice guy. There's always quite energetic.
He is
when
really
he talk-
nice
when-
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, when he
Yeah.
talks about
Yeah.
the street photography, you can see his eye lights up. You know, he's like, oh yeah, that's my stuff there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
good.
And
But also,
I
yeah,
thi-
sorry, go on.
I was only going to say he's also feels quite strongly about the idea of intentionality. You set out to do something,
Yes.
and you see it through and you do it, and you kind of work within limitations. And it's
Yep.
the limitations that make you focus. No pun intended. Make you
Yeah.
focus on what you're trying to do. He's
Yep.
not trying to create something perfect. He's trying to create something real. So
Yes.
that was interesting.
That is always good. Something real. How lovely that does sound now with all the AI. Yeah. I was gonna say. We also noticed, at least at the photography show, the analog section has grown significantly this time.
Amazing.
And it's got a big aisle full of it. I think there were at least 6 or 7 stands that were selling film stocks, different film stocks.
Yeah.
And a few selling secondhand film cameras. And quite a few.
I can't remember the name of the stand. Was it the Vintage Camera Hut or something like that?
Yes,
They had a
right
whole
the
bunch
corner.
of Trip 35s in different colours. So
Nice.
I don't know whether they've got a company that can do different leatherette skins
Yes.
for Trip 35s, and I don't know how many of them still work. But they were selling them for like 150 pounds. And it wasn't very long ago. You buy one off eBay and you'd think like 20 quid was a lot, 20 pounds was a lot for a Trip 35. But here they are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah, I know.
They're such a nice camera, but I think these selenium cells are prone to degrading.
They would not be accurate now.
I did have one that I gave to my daughter because she asked for a vintage camera that was working fine, but I think you've got to have it's exposure to light that does it.
Yes.
That's ironic for a light meter, isn't it? Don't expose it to light. But it's prolonged exposure to light, I think, degrades the cell. But if you had it in the cupboard with the lens cap on,
Yeah.
I'm sure there are plenty around. It's still good.
Yeah, but it's hard to tell unless you do a few rolls and check it.
I think there's supposed to be a simple test you can do where you look for the red flag that comes up if the light's too low.
Yeah.
And if it's always up or it doesn't come up, it means the meter's dead.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but that was when cameras didn't need batteries. How extraordinary!
I know. Think about eco-friendly.
Amazing. Yeah, quite. quite.
Yeah. So that was interesting to see that many analog stuff. And even when I spoke to a lot of well, when I did my talks, and there were actually a small proportion of the people who listened to my talk were actually analog photographers. So this is probably the very first time in, I would say, the last 5-6 years that actually have, a percentage of attendees are analog shooters. Previously they had analog stands, but it was very small section. There weren't that many, but you actually see that community has grown quite a bit in the last few years.
And if it's any consolation to people who don't like AI, a lot of the AI tools in Lightroom and Capture One, I can't speak for them all, can't get on with analog scans. There's just something about the nature of the analog image that stops the tools from working.
Yeah. But one thing I do like about analog community is that for those who shoot with analog, is that you do get a print out of it, and always
Well,
think that is really cool, right? They have prints.
unless you get it into your digital workflow straight away.
That too. Yes.
If anyone uses Capture One, there's a new negative conversion workspace designed specifically for scanned negatives. Yeah, but color negatives remain a problem because of the orange mask, and it's not a simple matter to subtract that masking from the colors in the image. It's still you still have to do things in the right way and accept that your images are still going to have the old color cast here and that you might need to correct. But I take it as a sign that the analog revival is starting to be noticed amongst software publishers. Which is interesting.
Funny you asked me though, because I had a very interesting encounter over the weekend. I got one analog photographer came up to me and talked to me about his work and everything. He's very young, and then he likes to shoot analog, but he also likes to digitize them and post them online and thing, which is very common things to do. And then he's really getting into this craft, and he asked me, "Can I noise reduce the scan?"
No, it doesn't work. Like none of the noise reduction tools I've tried know what to do with film grain. They can do digital grain because it's how you process the raw data.
Yeah.
But with film you're starting from a different position. I don't know whether Topaz can do it. I don't know whether you tried.
No, I have tried it. It doesn't. It gives up.
There you are.
Yeah.
Can't be done.
It's really weird.
It goes with the territory. I think, especially with 35mm, you will get a lot of grain. We never used to think about it very much because we didn't have the ability back in those days to examine images under that kind of magnification. But now we can. We can see the grain. Oh yes.
Yes. That's exactly what I told him. That's the grain. Noise reduction software is to remove noise, but these are not noises. These are grains.
Yes.
There's no grain removal technology at the moment.
No, not really. You can try regular noise reduction tools in software, but they struggle.
Yeah.
And what they tend to do is give you really nasty results that just don't look right.
Yeah.
So you could use something like Define in the net collection. You could probably take the edge off the film grain.
Yes.
But only at the cost of a lot of detail and a kind of washed out watercolor effect. You have to be very careful with the adjustments, and you also have to accept you might make it a little better, but you can't fix it.
No.
You're wasting your time.
Yeah, you will be, but just embrace it. That's the character of analog photography for you.
I think these days, if I was suggesting anyone who's used to digital images try analog, I'd probably say go for medium format, not 35mm. I think 35mm will be a bit of a shock in terms of image quality, but medium format, not so much.
No.
And the cameras are quite interesting too.
Oh yes, but also the cost.
It depends what you buy, doesn't it? I think certain medium format cameras have got cult status. The cost of film is high,
Yeah, no, but even like those cheap what's that brand?
Lomography.
No. You used to buy them in Jessup. What was it? The Hasselblad knockoff. What was that? Oh,
No,
can't remember the name of it.
Film
I need to
camera.
find film cameras, medium format. Yes.
Don't know.
Anyway, they used to sell for second hand. You can get a whole set: the body, the film back, with a couple of lenses.
You mean the Russian ones?
Bronica. Now remember,
That's
Bronica.
not a knockoff. That's a proper brand.
It is a
What do you
proper
mean about
brand.
Bronica?
But people who couldn't afford Hasselblad will buy Bronica.
Right. Yeah,
Yes.
or Mamiya.
Yeah, Mamiya. Yeah.
Or if you're feeling very brave, Kiev.
Yeah.
Was it
Yeah,
Kiev
oh,
60?
Kiev. Yeah. Good luck with reliability for those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Bronica, I was saying that Bronica, you could get a whole set for less than £500. Like I'm talking about like a body, two 120 film backs, maybe sometime you get a Polaroid back as well.
Yeah.
A couple of lenses, all within £500. Guess how much it is now? A Bronica body only, one film back, one lens, £1,000.
You should have bought it when it's cheap, Jimmy. How often the pair of us done that? Waited too long.
Oh gosh.
Oh gosh. Well, I think possibly that's going a bit high end. I think most people should probably look at like an old twin lens reflex or or a Lubitel 2. Remember those?
Lubitel. Oh, speaking of Lubitel, I have one here.
Don't squeeze it too hard, Jimmy. It'll fall to bits.
No, mine is not the Lubitel.
You've got the old
2.
one. You've got the original.
No, I got the new one.
8.
The one by Lomography. So this is the Lubitel Plus.
Oh, okay.
This is the Lubitel Plus. Actually, fantastic camera. This little guy.
About £200, something like that, or more.
I think I paid $250 for it.
Yeah,
and,
okay.
But it's new, and the lens is sharp. This thing's really sharp. The lens, and surprisingly, actually, surprisingly sharp. And because it's Lomography, when they release this one, it comes with all kinds of adapter. You can actually mount 35mm films in it. So you give you like a sprocket look, like the whole strip look. Yeah.
I've got the Lomography Constructor, which is the one you put together yourself.
Oh yeah. I remember those.
That's a 35mm one, but there's also you can get twin lens reflex kits, but don't get those because unless you're very good at putting together bits of plastic and springs, it's not going to end well.
No, that's really for your kids to play around with, to be honest.
But it won't work. But it's a bit of fun.
Yeah. But I think the Lubitel is not really a bad camera. I haven't really tried the original though. I haven't tried the original. I can't really compare with that.
I only had mine for a fortnight because it broke after 2 films, so I can't give you a long-term assessment of that.
Yeah, but how did the images look like though? Was it sharp still?
Sharp enough, because being medium format, you've got a bit in reserve anyway. The lens had quite a lot of vignetting, but very nice contrast, and it's just classic vintage look. Some vignetting, really punchy colors, not especially sharp, but really nice look. But my Yashica mat was much better. Yeah, but I somehow managed to break that as well.
Oh, I mean, now I need to put some film through it. It's just so nice.
You should. Yeah. But the other thing about 120 film as well is that if you want to scan with a flatbed scanner, they're not good enough for 35mm because the original's so small they don't have the resolution. But they can do a decent job with medium format.
Yeah.
And a flatbed with a transparency adapter, it'll be all right for medium format film. We'll still lose a bit of detail, but it's a bigger original, so you don't lose as much, really.
It's quite funny because the great Venice Photos actually say that I've got Chinese. I have the old seagulls. I have one too right here.
I was aware of those. I never tried one.
Shall I bring it out? I have one. Also TLR.
I also saw that Jeffrey's saying that he likes to add film grain to digital images. I've probably mentioned this before, but in Capture One, the grain option is often recommended, not as a special effect, but just as a way to give a kind of texture to digital images. take away some of the kind of smoothness.
Give me one moment. Let me see if I can get the seagull out.
Put some bread out, Jimmy. It'll come to you.
I don't know.
Seagull. They weren't that easy to get hold of, as I recall, back in the day. But they were certainly cheaper than a Rolleiflex or a Rolleicord. I did see some of those at the photography show, but I couldn't bring myself to look at the price because I'd be too horrified, probably. But it's true that retro cameras are a lot more expensive to buy now, but in a funny kind of way. Now that films become more readily available and you can find labs to process it, it has kind of pushed up the price of cameras because the demand has gone up. So, did you find it, Jimmy?
I have found it. It's so valuable. It has its own Billingham bag.
Yeah, well, those Billingham bags, they probably cost as much as a camera, don't they?
I think it costs more than a camera. Oh, look at this. Look at this gorgeous bees. Yeah. Look at that.
Oh, very nice.
Look at that, man.
Very nice, yeah.
Look at that, like a proper Rolleiflex.
Like one, yes.
Yeah.
Like one.
And
I would
it's
like to,
in proper Chinese words, not the English seagull words.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. It feels like a tank as well. It's really heavy, this thing. Of course, it's a full metal housing, and but I'm not entirely sure how reliable this thing is. I mean, it's more like a museum piece now.
Well, you can always try it. If the leaf shutter and the aperture still works, that's all you need, really.
Yeah. I have another TLR as well. It's called the Zeiss Icon. If you remember those.
Oh yeah, they're quite valuable, aren't they?
Not sure. I think the one that I had was quite valuable. But the time when I bought it, it wasn't. I paid £300 for it, but I think it's now going for £1,000 now, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. My little Fujifilm X30 digital compact is now selling for about 500 used. Yeah. And it's 400 new when I bought it. So I think I'll hang on to it. Maybe in a few years' time I'll be able to sell it and buy a car.
Yeah. Now you can see like why I'm running out of the room, because I have so many cameras and so many different cameras around.
I can't understand why they're all within arm's reach as well. That's really quite peculiar. You say, I've got that, and I go and get it.
I live in this bubble of mine. It's surrounded with cameras.
A sphere, yes.
All within arm's reach.
So the analog thing was quite striking at the show. I even saw some more brands. Do you remember Orwo? ORWO. There's some Orwo black and white film. I think it's from one of the Baltic countries. I think maybe the Czech Republic. But
right.
Orwo black and white. Yeah. So you can get this stuff, but there are certain processes that are quite hard to get now. So Kodachrome, obviously, that's not a thing anymore. But it's quite hard to find somewhere to process slide film if you can. Even though E6 was a standard process back in the day. Yeah. Nobody seems to do it now, so I think you're probably stuck with negative film if you want to go back to film.
Absolutely. Right, this side tourist can ask us a question, actually.
Yes.
At the Birmingham show, was there anything that really...
track.
Thank you. That really caught your eyes. Rod, first, what did you see anything that really find it interesting?
I do like the Fujifilm GFX 100 RF. The medium format compact. That's very nice, and it was on offer. So I didn't pick it up in case I wanted it so much that I had to have one. So you have to manage your buying habits sometimes.
Yeah. What was the offer though?
It was about 3.7.
3.7. What was the original price?
I thought it came in at well over 4, but I don't know. I'd have to check to be sure.
Okay. They must still have the cashback deal going, I think. And
I don't think there was cashback on the. I think it's just a show price.
Right.
I'm not
Okay.
sure there was cashback.
So it's the medium format Fujifilm camera.
Yeah.
That's interesting. For
Well, I mean,
anything else?
Anything else? Not that that's amazingly exciting, but I did have a little look at the Tamron 35 to 100 2.8.
The new one, the new lens.
For Sony E and L mount, and it seems an old set of focal lengths, but it's quite interesting how Tamron is mixing up the focal ranges.
Yeah.
So I've already got a 20 to 40 f2.8, which is actually great for just walk around travel photography, because it goes from really wide to kind of like only moderately wide, which is kind of always the focal range I like to be in.
Yeah.
So that 35-100 would go quite well with that. So that was interesting. I did have a little look at the Sony RX1R3.
Oh yes,
and I thought,
yes.
I thought it's smaller than I expected, so good in that sense. But then when you think that costs as much as the Fujifilm, it's or even more. You can have 61 megapixels full frame or 100 megapixels medium format for the same price.
Yeah,
I'll
go for the medium format.
But yeah. I mean, it has its own restrictions. You're stuck with an f4 lens rather than f2 on the Sony. But then again, you just have to accept compromises in some areas. And also, of course, you're going to have to buy some more expensive memory, Jimmy, because those files are big. So
yeah,
maybe it'll cost you in the long run. I don't know. No, but I like that. I was struck by how busy the Nikon stand was. So I noticed. I did have a quick look at the Z9.
Okay.
Which I thought was really cool. I think the big screen on that is just so obvious that why does nobody else do it? Obviously, you need a big screen for a video camera or a vlogging camera.
Yep.
So I think the rest need to catch up.
Yeah.
Panasonic wasn't there at all. So,
no. That's what surprised me, that I didn't see Lumix at all, which is
no.
They were at the last photography show though. I think this may I don't know. I can't remember exactly, but they seem to be very much disappear from the show scene. I haven't seen them in BSC last month, which they used to.
There's a local show I go to every year, the Wales and West Photography Show, which is much smaller.
Yep.
And they go to that. That's just a case of setting up a desk and putting on some cameras on their desk.
Yes.
So I think it's probably the cost of a full-size stand that they're avoiding. This side towards screen says the GFX 100 RF is $5,600 in the US. So that's an interesting thing we're seeing at the moment. That it's one of those brands where US prices and UK prices are way different.
Yeah.
So very often, Jimmy and I, because we're in the UK, will say, that's good value, that's brilliant for the money, etc. Probably only in the UK, not so much in the US.
You would have thought they would just have a single pricing strategy, like a RRCP in Japanese yen, and just translate into different regions and based on exchange rate.
I think the thing is, though, that these companies set up regional subsidiaries. So Fujifilm US is a completely different company to Fujifilm UK. They're all supplied with Fujifilm cameras, but they have their own ideas about how they want to operate things. And I think probably different ideas about how they want to deal with import duties and tariffs and things like that.
That's true. That's
true.
true.
And different supply issues.
Yeah.
So it's different territories, different strategies, I think.
Okay, that's certainly cool.
So what did you see? What did you see?
I see a few things. I saw a few things. The first thing is the OM System OM3 Astro.
Oh, of course, the Astro. Yeah.
Yes. The very first time I put my hands on one, because it's so rare. Even within OM System themselves, they only had two samples going around the entire Europe for reviews. So that's one of them. So I don't know whether the other one was. And so it's a very rare. So it's a very rare camera.
It's in my backpack. I'm told nobody.
But I have tried it. And then I know the reason I wanted to try it is because quite a few of you asked me about whether you can use the Astro camera as an ordinary camera. The quick answer is no. So I asked the OM System rep and also tried it myself. You will see the white or actually any color have a slight shift in the hue. So the reason is because one of the filters has been removed
I think the filter's been changed to give extended sensitivity. I'm just guessing here. Extended sensitivity into the infrared. For astrophotography, which is going to affect how regular colors appear. I was slightly disappointed because it's basically an OM3 with a little sticker on, isn't it? To look at.
Well, I did have a conversation before because I'm not sure any one of you are aware. You know, I remember 3 years ago I went to the photography show. There was one Taiwanese exhibitor who was making filters. He makes a lot of these drop-in filters to Micro Four Thirds cameras. It's more specifically Olympus cameras at the time, to make them more sensitive to certain spectrum for astrophotography. And I can't remember exactly the company name for it now, but he's a scientist. He has a doctorate of something I can't remember, some sort of optical engineering. So he knows his stuff. So what he was saying that he analyzed all the different sensors across all the digital cameras at the time. He told me that Olympus sensor is by far the best one for astrophotography because it's more sensitive to certain light spectrum. That's what he said to me. Right. So that's why he wanted. That's why so many people are using Olympus cameras, at least in his eyes, for astrophotography. And he made filters to help boost certain colors. So if he can do that, and I'm pretty sure that if OM3 can. The Astro, maybe someone will make it like a drop-in filter, put it back inside, and make it like a normal camera.
It's a different thing, though, isn't it? You can bias the sensitivity of a sensor that the sensor already has, but the Astro version extends that sensitivity. You can't improve the sensitivity with a filter that the sensor doesn't have. So it's like infrared conversions. On cameras, you have to take out the infrared cut filter in order to make the sensor sensitive to infrared. Actually, it's interesting. I wonder if a camera converted for infrared would also be quite good for Astro. Who knows?
No, but I have no idea. I'm not Astro guy, so. but certainly interesting. It does. But it operates like an ordinary OM3, but it is designed specifically for night photography, so nothing else, according to them. But even with that restriction, apparently is sold out already. A lot of the pre-orders has been fulfilled.
Well, especially if they've only got two.
Possibly, yes. But but it looks like that the demand has outstripped supply, so they may increase the production for that particular model. Who knows? Another thing that caught my eyes is the Typok. A Chinese lens maker who is making a lot of manual lenses. You guys may have seen one of my videos about the 28mm 1.4 M-mount lens that are used on the Nikon ZF. One good thing about M-mount lenses are that you can basically adapt to any sort of cameras that you want via an adapter, as well as being able to mount it properly on a rangefinder Leica or any sort of M-mount cameras, because it is coupled, so you can use it with the rangefinder, mechanical rangefinder in the camera. The lens that in question that caught my eye is their brand new 35mm f2. Is a design that is paying homage to the very popular and almost like a cult lens within the Leica community, the 35mm Summicron 8-element. So that's if you know your Leica stuff, you would know what I'm talking about. The 8 elements 35mm f2. This lens is basically it. Of course it's a new lens, but it's made like one. I think the optical design is also very, very similar as well. I held it in my hand. It's certainly very weighty for the size, because it's also made with entirely with brass. So that's another cool thing about that as well.
Do you think it's getting very difficult for the average photographer to navigate all these different Chinese brands? There's some very good lenses there, but there are so many brands now, you get lost.
You do, and unfortunately, at the moment, that there is no coherent or a very consistent approach that you can find them. And even you heard about them. If you look online, there aren't many proper reviews of them either. So it's really hard to really try to find something. But there are a ton of them. Absolutely a ton of them.
Very often they won't have local distribution, so you will have to buy direct, and then you're going to have to navigate whatever duties are applicable in shipping from one territory to another. That's a little bit complex sometimes. But it's great. It's great that they're appearing, but it'd be nice if they could set up official importers and distributors in the different territories, just to make them a bit easier to buy.
It would be, but I mean, I can understand the difficulties there. I mean, the retailers, especially local retailers, they don't want to take the risk for unknown, at least to them, unknown brand. So how many should I get, to put it on my shelf or list it on my website? And what if they don't sell? Like they have the thing going. Yeah. It's always a little bit chicken and egg, and they may want to get it, but only want to get it when it's become really popular that everyone knows about it.
Yeah.
So,
it is difficult. What do you want? What do you want? No, you can't have it. No, don't be a pest.
But yeah, so that's the lens that I found it quite interesting, and one final thing that I actually got it from the show is the YC Onion Dolly, the little monopod that I can roll around the show. You will see me in the video. I'm making a video about that, and it's absolutely cracking fun to use that thing.
Yeah.
And I got so much glance from everybody who walked past me. This show people were looking at me. What the heck is that you're using?
Yeah, it's a great idea. It's a great idea. So it's a way to do run and gun shooting without having to learn the ninja walk.
But it only works with a smooth surface though.
But I mean, it's like if you've ever been in hospital with a drip on a stand which you walk along with. He's been trying to do an impression of somebody walking along with a drip on a stand. It's like that. It's like that.
Pretty much. Yeah.
But it does look very cool. But the thing was that dolly was with a monopod that has a single grip for releasing all the extensions, which is really useful because you can basically hold it at the height you want the camera to be, press the button, and the legs drop down to the floor, and you've got your height adjustment in one go, which with the regular monopod, it's just a lot of fiddling around.
What I also tried as well with the dolly is that, as you mentioned about this, the single action, it's really, when I'm actually rolling and filming, I could quickly adjust the height so I could actually film and gradually bring it down. So you got this motion of filming down. It's amazing. That thing is so cool.
you and your video moves. I don't know. It's too complicated for me.
It's a new toy. Just want to answer Angela Player for once. Most Chinese lenses come from the same design engineering. I wouldn't disagree with you. I think there are quite a few that basically coming from the same factory. If I even dare to say use the same barrel, they just change the name on the lens. It is true. But I think for M-mount lenses, however, is fairly different because all the M-mount Chinese lenses I've seen so far have different barrels, have different barrel designs, so they're all different. So I haven't seen one that is basically identical. Optically, I think it's also slightly different as well because you have to fit into the housing, so it's a very different design. I do think that a lot of them were reverse engineered from old Russian lenses and old Leica. So it wouldn't surprise me.
It's interesting though, the lens manufacturer doesn't seem to need the R&D and the tooling up that we imagine. Maybe when you've got a lens production plant, you can very quickly produce new optical configurations and designs. And also, I think these lenses, they're not using any exotic glass, really. They're not using glass molded aspheric elements or low dispersion glass or anything fancy like that. It's just regular optical glass.
Well, I mean, Chinese now have factories that can make lenses in all shapes and sizes. So, you know, it's fairly easy for them to create something, providing you give them the price. And, you know, unlike proper Leica lenses, they do use very expensive elements. And quite often you find them, they're hand polished. So that's where the costs come from. And Chinese, on the other hand, they're all coming from the factories, and so there will be some tolerance issues there, and most of them will not be hand checked like Leica either. So that's about quality control issues. That you may get a good one, you may not.
there was a time when aspherical lens elements had to be ground, not molded, and that was fabulously expensive because it's quite straightforward to grind circular surfaces, spherical surfaces, but not aspherical. That's a whole different thing. And so I imagine for a time, Leica was grinding aspherical lens elements, which would be extremely expensive.
I think they still do.
I think they probably do.
I think they still do. Yeah. I saw the factory, so they are still hand grinding them.
that would probably be more controversial than having an EVF in a Leica M.
Okay, and this side to a screen was Sigma there. Yes, they were there. Is there anything particular you would like to learn more about? But I did speak to them. Very briefly and asked them. Last year, obviously, the highlight was the BF. Everyone was talking about the BF, and I said, like, this year you don't have a BF2 or like a new camera. So what was the most popular thing that people come and see? And he told me it was the new 35-1.4 and the 150 or 135, I can't remember which one it was. 1.4. Yes, you heard that right. Yeah, that focal length 1.4 aperture is a massive beast.
I'll bet it is. People are still mad on fast lenses, aren't they?
Oh,
it's still a bit of a craze.
Yes, they want the aperture, right? They want the shallow depth of field.
I didn't make it to the Sigma lens. I did have a wander around the Canon stand, and as has already been pointed out in the chat, that was quite big. It's basically a town within a show. You needed your own map.
Yes,
you could get lost.
I saw that someone was talking about it early, wasn't it? And
you got a private tour though, didn't you, Jimmy?
I
VIP
did.
Tour.
I got. I mean, imagine that. I got a VIP tour around the Canon town. I can call it Canon Town now.
Did you have to walk it, or did you get like a golf cart?
Oh, I wish. I'm not that type of VIP yet.
Okay.
No, but I did get a private tour about everything, so I got to try the VR. Yes, they had some VR stuff going.
Did you try that?
Yes.
Is it good?
It was actually pretty cool, and it's unfortunate the demo units that they have. I mean the headset they have was only 1080 projections because everything that they filmed was filmed in 4K, and with 1080 headset you do see the pixels, so it's not as sharp as you would like. I can imagine if you've got a 4K headset, things will look dramatically better and more real. But the sense of depth, the 3D is really, really, really cool.
Is it? Did you check out the anti-gravity display from Insta360?
No.
I only had a quick glance. I didn't try the goggles or anything. I'm not sure
I didn't.
But I think that would be incredibly disorientating.
I have one. I have the anti-gravity.
Yeah, I think you should tell us what it's like. I imagine you're not going to fly using 360 vision with the goggles. You're going to fly somewhere, stop, then look around. Otherwise, you just get disorientated.
The anti-gravity is a kind of weird thing, if you think about it. I mean, it's a drone, but not a drone that you're familiar with, especially from a content creation point of view. I mean, it allows you to film everything in like capture the 360 image as you fly. So the controller doesn't allow you to do the normal maneuvering like a normal controller. So
because not. Right.
Yeah, it's very weird. And you can switch it to what they call FPV mode, so you can kind of use the gesture control to rotate the camera and rotate the drones and do certain things. So it's not an ordinary drone. But what you just said about looking around, and what it does have is like what they call the pre-planned route. So you can actually pre-plan the route, let it fly itself, and you can just almost like taking a tour, sit there as a back seat, and you just you almost like you're sitting in a drone. You can just go around looking 360 and let the drone fly itself.
Because Insta360 is really into its wild cinematic moves, isn't it? So I'm just imagine they expect to go flying on the bridges and doing 360 rolls and all sorts of weird stuff. But you probably get travel sick. Get vertigo.
Well, I mean, the footage coming up from the goggle is actually not that high quality, if I may say.
Is it not? No,
unfortunately not. And so I don't think it will get to that motion sickness bit, because it just doesn't look as clear or real, if I say that.
Right.
I
thought I suffer from vertigo. I thought if I got a drone, I could fly around and I wouldn't get vertigo. I still get vertigo. I don't know why. It's probably because I'm looking up at the drone, and that's making
just to answer Angela Playful one, the Bright Instar newer TTR-77 make it all coming from Shenzhen. They use the same CNC suppliers. Yes, all these brands that you mentioned, I do see a lot of similarities in their lenses, especially the manual lenses, like the 50, the 85, the 90 macros. They're all almost identical.
I think this is one thing I actually like, the increasing popularity of, I don't know what to call them. I suppose they are manual lenses. You could call them dumb lenses. I quite like the idea of lenses that don't communicate with the camera. It's just very simple. It's very easy to understand. You focus manually. You set the aperture manually. It's just a simpler way to shoot. It's more limiting. And you have to learn some old skills again. But I like the fact they're becoming more popular, because it's a very nice way to shoot if you've got a little bit more time. I
mean, it's funny you mentioned about that particular point, because this is the trend that I think Rod and I kind of observed, is that there are more manual lenses around in the show. You do see TT Artisan 7 Artisan display, and I saw Makey there as well. And also there were quite a few photographers coming up to these stands and asked about manual focus lenses. So it does look like people are more aware of these dumb lenses, and
it's better call them manual lenses. That's manual
lenses. So that's something that we certainly noticed at the show as well. So I guess the whole I think it helps with all the retro cameras coming out. I think that had something to do with that.
I think there's and what with the whole analog thing as well, people are becoming, or at least some people are becoming, more interested in the physical craft of taking pictures, the physical involvement. But I think initially there was some resistance to manual focus lenses, because if you've got a regular digital lens and you switch it to manual, you've got this kind of focus by wire system with no distance scale, and it's all a bit laggy and vague. And you can easily think, oh, I don't like manual focus. But then when you try a manual lens which has actually got mechanical focus action, it's so much nicer to use. And you've got a longer focus travel. It's more precise. It's a different experience.
Yeah, I mean, I that's a good point as well. You know, a lot of people, you know, like if I use Leica as an example, people say, oh, you know, shooting rangefinder is an experience, and it is an experience. But at the same time, you know, for those who haven't tried a manual lens, that's an experience, you know, because it's quite physical. You have to really look into the viewfinder and see the focusing and all that interaction with your hand and the aperture ring and the focusing ring.
Yeah,
and there's all of that is quite fun, I think.
It's doing stuff with the hands again, which
Yes.
we've lost. And I think there's a misconception about manual lenses, that you are stuck with manual exposure, and you have to measure the exposure every time. It's actually not the case, because you can just leave the camera in aperture priority mode.
Yes.
And if you stop down the lens, the camera gets less light, so it increases the exposure. It works just the same.
Yep.
It's not so good on a DSLR because the viewfinders get dimmer, but on a mirrorless camera, using a manual lens is so easy, and you can still have automatic exposure. So I don't think people quite realize that sometimes.
No.
But I think those that do, this is why manual lenses are becoming quite popular. They're quite cheap, they've got a look, and they're quite nice to use in that manual way.
Yeah. And another thing that I noticed is what would I say? The compact cameras. Yes, compact cameras.
Yes. Oh, don't start.
Let's start with Fuji. Fuji obviously hasn't got any proper compact cameras for a while, but they did use their back display. They put a lot of compact cameras as a displays to draw people in. They have all these little compact cameras there. Yeah, it's in the grid. They put them in the grid. Yeah, so to draw people in, they have all the Instax in front of it.
Oh, those, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know whether they're signaling something that they may be in developments. I know they already got the X100, which is basically kind of like a compact camera. But I think
they're quite cute.
Yeah, will they gonna make something to cater for the current market? Because we all know that Panasonic is it rumored or actually confirmed that the TZ30 is it actually coming out? I mean, I keep seeing that post at the moment.
TZ, which one?
TZ30, I think it's the one with the 1-inch sensor. I think the compact cameras from Panasonic.
Not sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
anyway,
yeah.
I saw some posts about that.
Okay. But we did see the PowerShot G7 X3.
Oh yes, the 30th.
Yeah.
Was it what was the anniversary? Was the 30th anniversary? Oh, I can't remember now.
No, that one came out in 2019.
Right. So this
The
is 35.
G7X Mark
No,
III.
something I can't remember. Special edition, anyway.
Oh yeah, I don't know what they're celebrating, but yeah. Apart from the fact it might be celebrating.
I don't know what he's celebrating with.
might be celebrating the fact it cost £100 more than it did when it launched. Maybe that's what they're celebrating. There's a win.
Gosh, yeah. But I have to say, I did feel a little bit nostalgic because when I went to the Canon with that private tour, I hovered around that compact section there. I held every current compact cameras that they have there. So they had the V10, the kind of weird vlogging camera.
Yeah, the vlogging one. Yeah.
And obviously the G7 too.
What I can't understand is why the camera makers are bringing back compact cameras from the past always bring back the worst ones. Jed, why did Canon give up with the G1 X Mark III? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
APS-C sensor, 3x zoom.
Yeah.
Quite small camera, quite nice. Always quite expensive, but they stopped doing it. Don't know why.
That could rival the X100. The APS-C sensor.
Well, it's interesting. It didn't really have the look, but it certainly had the hardware. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't matter then if it doesn't have the look. So forget it. These days, all about the look.
It doesn't have the look. No, sorry. But I think if you like the X100 6, you're better off just getting the XE5.
Yeah.
And that 23mm f2.8 pancake lens.
Yeah.
It still has the look, but you can actually buy one. which is amazing, really.
I just I just still kind of puzzles me. Like, why Fuji still bother about advertising X100 when you can't even get hold of it?
I don't know. Maybe they get a lot of sales of other cameras in the range just because people can't get that one. I don't know. Is it like a Halo product? You're not meant to buy it. You're just
You're
meant
not
to
meant
think.
to buy it.
You're not meant to buy it. It just makes you think all the others must be good too.
Oh,
I do like the XM5.
yes.
And I think the XT30 Mark III is very good for the money.
Yeah, I like the XM5. The XM5 is so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that your custard color lens. That's weird. That's just weird.
Oh no, this is brilliant. I mean, look at that color. Matches my jacket, so it's so good.
Yeah.
And so this side too was going to ask, was that Canon prototype there in Birmingham? No, it was not there. I was hoping to see it at least on display, but it wasn't there, unfortunately. And that's another thing about that as well, because I recently came across a post from someone who posted on Facebook. Apparently, was it in Japan or in Asia? Canon has set up a page, actual dedicated page for that retro-looking camera, and asked about the opinion. So it looks like they are maybe gauging interest to see if that's enough to, trying to get some green light from the top.
Well, it's disappointing in another way, because it sounds like they haven't even started. Here we are waiting with bated breath, and they still haven't started. That's very
but a lot of manufacturers are like that though. They make something,
If Canon did Kickstarters, that's what it would be.
Yeah, probably. On the other hand, though, Fuji also did something very similar, from what I heard, and they have been asking what lenses do they want. So there's a page of a whole list of different lenses. So they're gauging sort of interest to see what kind of lenses they want to see. This is cool though, isn't it? I mean, why can't all makers do that? Like listen to the customer. What do we want? What do we want?
we did give OM System the benefit of our thoughts about a lens that we would like. I don't know whether anything will come of that. It seems unlikely.
But
yeah.
So at least I tried, right? I helped you guys. I did try it.
a 6 or an 8mm f2 Astro lens. We said
rectilinear pro lens.
Yeah. So they said, oh, but there's a fisheye. I said, we don't want a fisheye. We don't want a fisheye. We want a rectilinear.
Yes, and we want wider, 6mm.
And we shouldn't have to buy it from Laura. We should be able to buy it from her. Yeah. But anyway, it's all in good spirit, But I think that would be good to go with the OM3 Astro.
Yeah.
A very fast prime.
I keep saying, we have some cracking zoom lenses in the past few years, and macro lenses, and it seems somehow the wider angle lenses, especially the prime side, it seems to be ignored for a number of years now.
Yeah. I mean, all you've got this compact is the 9-18, f4 to 5.6. That's not an Astro lens. That's far too slow.
No. But yeah, I think your argument might give them some thoughts, though, isn't it? Like Astro, you do need some fast ultra wide angle lenses.
Well, it's true though, isn't it? It's true. I mean, that the Laura 6mm would be perfect. The 7.5 as well. They're getting quite hard to find. I think Laura's kind of lost interest.
Well, no. Actually, funny enough, when I went to Laura stand and spoke to them, when I was speaking to them, there were a couple of people asking for 6mm. And then, but they didn't have any. They didn't have any, so they said, "Like, we can only mail it to you."
Oh, did they? They said they can supply it. They can supply it then.
Yeah, they still have it. Yeah.
That's the perfect Astro lens, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Or the 7.5, which I believe is also very good. So
yeah.
I know they're manual focus, but that's okay for astrophotography as long as their infinity marker is correct. Which you can't always rely on. Let's say no more about that.
No, that's right. But certainly a very cool show. Is there anything that caught my attentions over there? Not entirely sure. What about you?
Not so much. No, I mean with only really it's only Fujifilm, Canon, and Nikon as being the major stands, but then there was quite a lot going on at the Ricoh stand. They turn up in full, didn't it? That was quite a good stand, and being able to speak to Antonio there and talk about the GR4 monochrome, that was quite interesting. So Yeah, I think Rico made quite an effort to put on a show, so
Yeah,
that's
this
quite encouraging.
they certainly did, and I think I remember last TPS that I went to, Rico had a very big stand, but not that many
Right?
people. But this year is quite busy. I think it's a lot to
Yeah,
do with the new, a lot to do with the new GR, especially the
I
monochrome
think
model.
so.
Yeah,
I think there's been a lot of, I say a lot. There's a particular section of photographers who just want to revert to something simpler and more
yeah,
direct.
yeah.
So that's quite cool. No Leica, but then Leica doesn't exhibit anymore really, so that's not a
No,
big surprise.
they only turn up in 5-star hotels and stuff. They don't bother about TPS. So yeah, forget about it.
Yeah, yeah, that was a bit of a shame. Um,
Yeah,
so I think those sounds were the highlights. It's always interesting to poke around with the Fujifilm cameras, I think, because you realise that some of them are actually quite small. So the
yes,
XT30 is quite a small camera. The XM5, it's a very cute, dinky little thing.
yes.
Um, the XC5 is a bit thicker and heavier than the old XC series cameras. I
Mm,
like the XC3. It didn't have any IBIS.
yep.
I think that's my favourite though.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
but the XT30, I could easily be tempted by that, except for that one thing that it has the quick menu button
Yep,
right where you rest your thumb on the
yep,
grip, and that just drives me absolutely potty because I keep pressing it. So that's how I hold
yeah,
the camera in one hand.
yep,
You keep
yep.
pressing that quick menu button. That is very annoying. Very
Uh,
annoying.
well, this
But hey
side
ho.
tourist skin just popped the question
Yeah.
out. If Rico would come up with a new GXR,
Well,
oh,
now if this was a Pentax camera, that could happen because anything can happen at Pentax. It's like the KF is really the
yeah,
K70
yeah,
just
yeah,
resurfaced. So Pentax is always bringing back cameras you thought had gone, but I don't know
yeah,
whether Ricoh would. That's a shame. I don't think it
yeah,
will, but yeah, or just try and find an old one used. Thing is, I think if you do that kind of stuff, you realize actually these old cameras were quite slow and limited. I
yeah.
can't remember what the GXR was like to use, whether that was, but I've used a
No,
few others, and I thought,
no.
yes, I'm glad we moved on. But then other cameras are better than you
Yeah,
thought.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I for a while I had both Fujifilm X-T1 and an X-T5,
Yeah, I
and I
remember that.
thought
Yeah,
I thought for regular static photography, the XT1 is fine. It's fine.
yeah.
It's only contrast AF, but it's quite quick. You wouldn't use it for video or action, but as for just
But for
wandering
for
around taking
but
still images, it's fine.
yeah, for carrying
It's fine.
around point-to-point shooting,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with contrast detect. People always
No.
very
No.
wary about contrast detect. I
Yeah.
have no idea why, but then well, there
I
you go.
I think it's just a bias. That's been repeated so often. People take it as a fact now. So it
Yeah, I
is a
think
shame.
they always think contrast detect is rubbish, but it's
No, it's
actually,
fine.
if you ask me technically, it should be more accurate than face detect.
It is actually more
Yeah,
accurate. And I think what possibly most people don't realize, or phase detect evangelists don't realize, is that most cameras that have on sensor phase detect AF also have contrast AF. It's a dual system.
yeah,
So I think the phase detect is for speed, but the contrast detect is for accuracy. And the
yeah,
AF will use both. So
yes,
it's not that
yes,
contrast AF is worst. It's just that phase detect has some advantages for speed.
yeah,
So that was interesting.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's mainly just nice to go around and look at these cameras and pick them up, and you don't get a proper sense of how the size and the weight and
no,
what they're like to handle
no.
until you've got them in your hands.
And I mean, like the shows like this is the perfect time for you to actually get hands on. I'm not
Yeah,
just speaking of
yeah,
just cameras and lenses, but other things that you may even want to see. Like, I think we talked about it. Right? I think camera bags, and then this is the only time you can actually see the bag yourself. In what sizes
yeah,
they are, what sort of thing you can fit in it. It's quite easy to just look at the website or see someone reviewing it, but they have different
yeah.
gear to you, and it's always kind of hard to gauge what kind of size you need to put things in it. And
And
shows like this, you have a comprehensive range of stuff
you
to
do,
see.
you do.
Yeah,
And it's good if you've got your own kit with you, just so you can start putting it in to find
populating
out.
it.
It was quite busy to do that
Yeah,
though on the Saturday and Sunday and Monday, but it's always an interesting comparison because we had a good chat, didn't we, with the Billingham folk. They didn't have a
Yes.
stamp, but they were
Yes, we
going
did.
around
Yes.
looking. And I think we both had the same experience with bags, Jimmy and me, that bags that are fine when they're empty aren't so good when they're full up. So
Yep.
you can get some very rigid designs that look as if they're going to offer a lot of protection, but they don't have enough give in them. So that by the time you've crammed all your gear in, they're so tightly packed you can't get your fingers down the side to take it out again. You know, I've often felt that way about Peak Design bags, for example.
Yeah.
But with Billingham bags, they feel a bit floppy and soft by comparison. But when they've actually got gear in them, they're really nice to use.
Yes.
And they've got this weird front pocket which defies all logic about space and time, because the more you put in it, the more space you've got left over. It's hard to understand what's going on.
There's a black hole inside.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, like the TARDIS from Doctor Who.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it is very true, and also especially that depending on what type of gear you have, if you've got full like big full frame primes and full frame bodies, and then you have something like a Micro Four Third or even the APS-C Fujifilm gear, you may find some of the bags compartments are either too big or too small for your stuff. Yeah.
The only bag I've got that's good for my little MFT primes is a Billingham Hadley Small, I think it is.
Yeah, it is small.
we had some conversation with the Billingham people to try and work out which bag it was I had, because I wasn't very good at describing it. But that's the only one where the dividers produce quite a small space and your lenses don't rattle around.
Yeah.
So that's quite
that's
quite
the
cool.
thing about rattling, right? Because a lot of the Micro Four Third lenses are quite small.
Yeah.
And you put into some of these big backpack, all you can hear is rocking around inside.
Yeah. It's as bad as those lenses that don't park themselves when they switch off and rattle.
Yeah,
But
pretty much like that.
I did notice a fashion trend in bags, Jimmy. I don't know whether you noticed this.
Yeah.
Well,
I noticed something,
so,
yes.
Apart from different colour schemes, which is nice, I saw Think Tank also had some roll top bags.
No, from Think Tank.
I think it was Think Tank, yeah.
There used to be this boring black case and
but not what, like low pro, for example. Low pro bags are great, but they are quite anonymous, aren't they? They're quite black and boring. But yeah, so roll top bag, I don't suppose for 1 minute it's at all useful, but at least it's different.
Yeah.
But it means that you can have your camera gear in a lower section, and you can stuff your hoodie or your sweater or a very large lunch in the top part.
Yeah, it seems to be the thing now. I mean, I think finally especially with mirrorless technology these days, things has kind of gone a little bit smaller. But at the same time, I think a lot of manufacturers now finally realize that, you know, like a lot of ordinary, with all due respect, I'm saying, like, unless you are like top end professional who need to really stuff your bag with full of gear, most people don't need that kind of capacity, for instance. And if you have a normal, even a 20 liters bag, it's still, you know, in terms of volume, it's still too much for your camera gear. So they need to design something where you can fit normal personal belongings, whether it's going to be a jacket, water, food, snacks, you know. So I think they finally understand that's the way to go.
I think as well, do you know what? I think people are having their minds changed about how much stuff to carry around, because I was watching a talk by this guy, I've never seen him before, on travel photography. Somebody whose face rings a bell. Can't think where I've seen him before. But he was saying, take less stuff. What do you think you're doing? Just take less stuff. Otherwise you'll confuse yourself. You'll confuse yourself.
Yeah.
I'm teasing. I watched your talk, Jimmy. It's very informative. It was you.
It was me. Just want to bring that up. The great Vanity is asking me what lens is this. This is actually a TT Artisan 30. Is it 33? 35 1.8 autofocus lens. They have it, of course, in X mount, in Z mount, E mount. I think these are the 3 mounts that they do. APS-C, so it's not for full frame. It is a limited. The yellow, this yellow version is limited, so I don't know whether they still have them in stock. Yeah. And but the cool thing is, you know, I know the hood is right here, is in yellow as well, but it's metal, so it's not plastic, and so that's cool.
That's quite cool.
That's quite cool. So the whole thing is metal, actually. It's got a metal shell as well, so it's interesting. Not expensive, actually, like all Chinese lenses. TT Artisan and 7 Artisan lenses are usually fairly cheap. Don't ask me about optical performance, though.
No, okay. I think we know what you're saying.
It's cool though. It's cool looking. It's cool looking lens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw some comment about everyone's bags now are either Peak Design or Shimoda.
I heard a couple of people said that somebody invents something new and everybody else copies it. Who knew?
Yeah,
right? That's never happened before.
I know. Yeah.
I think roll top bags are okay, but I'm not a big fan of backpacks generally because it's just harder to get at your stuff. They're okay for getting from one place to another, but they're no good if you're walking around taking pictures. I don't think so.
No.
It depends on what you like.
Yeah, I mean, for travel, it just depends. I mean, I do still like to carry a shoulder bag. So what happens sometimes, you know, sounds quite crazy. I have a backpack for the gear, but I'll carry a small Billingham or small shoulder bag just to put the stuff that I need to use in it, just so easier to access it.
I've done that.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I'm carrying two camera bags.
Well, what I travel with a general purpose backpack.
Yeah.
I stick a shoulder bag in it. The best shoulder bag I've got is actually quite cheap and nasty.
Yeah.
Hang on, I've got it up here. Hang on.
That's okay. Right, just to answer your question, here is it not good? Well, the lens itself is not too bad. It's more to do with the focus breathing. Sorry, Rod, I'm just talking about this one here. Someone is asking whether it's not good. Well, I would say that is decent or okay for the price because it's like only $127. I think so. It's not very expensive at all, and it's decently sharp. The only thing that I can't get my head around is how much it breathes. So if you focus from the closest point to the furthest point, it's almost like a zoom lens. you can see the frame like literally change.
Yeah, but look, if you can make that popular next year, everybody's going to want focus breathing. They're going to. It's when you focus breathing. No, I don't want it.
Yeah, but no, that really is the only downside. I mean, this lens itself is okay. You know, I wouldn't say spectacular, but it does take, you know, okay pictures, and you know, nothing wrong with it, to be honest. And like I said, I really like the color. That's why I got it on my XM5. I thought it's a really cool looking lens.
That's my travel bag. It's a cheap. I don't know if it's
a Donke bag, is it? No, a low pro.
No, it's a low pro, but it's a cheap one that I got free with a magazine subscription. And the dividers aren't great, and it doesn't offer a lot of protection, but it's just got pockets all around it. You can just stuff things into. So if you're walking around, you can stuff a drinks bottle in one, you can put a map in another, and the way it's designed inside, you can easily put your camera gear in and out. It won't hold a lot, but it's just convenient. So sometimes cheap bags can be good if they're designed well.
Yeah,
which that one is. So
of course, you know, Roberts actually said Leo Photo's camera bag looks ace. I didn't actually
see that. Didn't see it. No, I saw the tripods.
No, I saw one by the Wax Stand, I think, and it's a yellow one.
Yeah.
It's a yellow one, and I like that yellow.
Okay.
I like that yellow. It's a backpack though. It's not a shadow. It's not a shoulder bag. It's a backpack though.
Right.
It's kind of a little bit like Shimoda-ish and that kind of design, but it's Leo Photo. At least they produce the right color, so that's I give them that.
and whatever happened to sling bags? Remember they were a thing. But
yes. People seem to be forgotten about them now.
I could never get along with those really because However, I put them on, I've done the wrong way round for opening them up, and I just lost interest.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're all in the garage now. They're all
Well,
in the garage with all the other old bags I never use.
Victor Roman say Tenba. Yeah, Tenba is actually another known brand for bags as well. Yeah,
yeah.
Tenba. Yeah. Yeah.
They do a bring your own bag thing as well, which is quite good if you've got a favorite rucksack that
Yeah.
isn't designed for camera gear.
Yeah.
You can put these bring your own bag modules, put one of those in and take it out when you get there. Often
Yeah.
you can just put a couple of straps on it and treat it as a shoulder bag as well. So that's quite a cool design.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
And
I think camera bags are very personal things. You know, we like
it
some people like one thing, some like another.
it is. I mean, it's the thing is, you know, everyone knows me, know that I love camera bags. I mean, I'm kind of like a hoarder when it comes to camera bags. I mean, I have probably about like 20 different rucksacks, and probably have about like 20 Billinghams or
gosh.
something like that. Just
So I can't send you some of mine to get rid of them then.
I have way too many. I mean,
Okay.
the thing is, I mean, I like to review them, but you know, it's just sometimes hard because every time I review a bag, there's not many people interested in viewing them.
Yeah.
It's just the thing. I think people are more interested in bags and I'm sorry, I mean camera and lenses more
Cameras,
than
yeah.
bags itself. But I think bags are equally important in as for photography. That's where you put your expensive stuff in and want to
Well,
protect them.
it's difficult to form a quick opinion with a bag as well, because I've often found that I can have a bag that I think is brilliant,
Yeah,
and then 4 or 5 weeks later you think, I hate this. It's
yeah,
just not right. You know, you have to live with the bag for quite a long time.
yeah,
And sometimes you can have a really nasty bag like my Low Pro there, but you take it everywhere just because it's so easy
Yeah.
to use.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's hard to
Yeah.
judge what's going to be good or not.
It is hard, and also I mean there are some bag reviewers out there, and I mean every time if I want to buy a bag, I do trying to find a reviews. At least I see someone
Yeah.
using it, and but
Yeah.
yeah, it's really hard to see reviews for bags, and
It is, yeah.
it's only like when you need them, then you look for it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that kind of thing. And Robert Muse just say that yes, the new Leo photo is going in black, mint, orange coming soon. Okay, don't tempt me
really,
now.
really. Mint, I think I could live with. Orange, not ever since I've seen that yellow lens Jimmy's got. I'm staying
Yes.
away from that.
Yes,
that colorway.
yes,
You're right,
that will
yeah,
that will fit this. That will fit this. That will fit this lens in that
yeah,
back
no,
very nicely.
I've gone off that colorway completely. But mint or blue, I'll do.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some bags, not quite as many as previous years, but I think we've all seen enough bags at shows to last us for quite a while. I have anyway. It's quite a lot of lighting. Not so many
Yes.
wedding album exhibitors
Oh yeah.
as before, but
Yes, that's right. Yes, that's something that kind of changed. I remember for years and years there was always like
yeah,
album guys, and there will be some
photo books, yeah.
photo books, and there will even be some photographers advertising their business there. You know,
Yeah.
for wedding and
Yeah.
some. I don't know why, because this is not a wedding show, but anyway, they were there.
No.
But you're right. This year I didn't see any. I mean, there were
No.
still some paper guys, maybe some backdrops and things, but
Yeah, a
very,
few
very
things
small.
like that, yeah.
Very small, very
Yeah.
small.
So that definitely scaled back a little bit. Quite a lot of lighting. Godox had quite a big stand, as I recall.
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't think Manfrotto does lighting anymore.
No.
But three-legged thing wasn't there, though. Manfrotto had lots of tripods and
Yes.
shitstones as well. But no, Leo Photo.
Leo photo. Yep. Oop. Not entirely sure what happened there. Did we just lose? Did we just lose Rod? Rod has frozen. Oh dear. Oh, we fixed that in a minute. But anyway, we can continue this, and perhaps even wrap it up very soon. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. We didn't see any almost like independent smaller businesses like we saw in the previous years. For instance, like the backdrops, like I said earlier. He's only got like 1 or 2 companies, albums and things. Yeah, it used to be quite a few. Like, you know, talk about like maybe 20% of the show were about all this stuff. This year I think it's really down to maybe like 5%, and most of them are really hardware, like what Rod said earlier, like lights and cameras, of course, lenses, different manufacturers, and all sorts of stuff. So it's very different now, and looks like the show, and it also shows the trend as well. The trend seems to be changing, or people's buying habits, and or the way people photograph these days. They tend to maybe just taking the camera out, less so about setup in studio, for instance, printing. However, you know, Canon, you know, one big section of Canon stand is actually about printing. So you still see a lot of printers. So that is. Oh,
Sorry,
you're back.
we're back. I don't know what happened. I think the dog must have chewed through a cable or something.
Oh, well, I hope it's okay then.
I was only saying, did I convince you about Benbo tripods when we went over to the Benbo?
The Benbo tripod, yes, yeah, the Benbo tripod.
You did remarkably well. You seemed to master it straight away. So for anyone who doesn't know, Benbo tripods have a single curved bolt going through all 3 legs and the center column. So you loosen one bolt with the handle, and then all the legs will move independently, as will the center column.
Yeah.
So you can set it up on any kind of ground, and the center column can rotate to make a kind of horizontal boom, but it can also lock at any angle. So it's an extremely flexible tripod where you can easily break your fingers and lose your mind.
It is actually a very cool design, I have to say. And funny enough, though, when I asked about the price, it's actually remarkably. It's very remarkable that it's not like, you know, because these days you look at a lot of the tripods with a very good build, a rugged build, and has certain capacities. They are easily like £200-300 these days in the UK. You know, not a known brand. I'm talking about a known brand, and Benbo's it's got really sturdy, solid, rugged build to it. You know, almost like it can last for like 50 years, that kind of thing.
It's all aluminium and iron, basically. So, but it's a very rugged design. Quite apart from the strange way the legs articulate. The materials and the construction are really solid, and it also has upside down legs with the thicker sections at the bottom, but they're completely sealed. So the whole of the bottom half of the leg can go in water, can go in mud. You can wash it down later. You don't have to take anything apart to clean it. It's just waterproof. So they're very practical for nature photography.
Definitely. I mean, like Rod was trying to convince me to convert, like, you know, to get a Benbo. I mean, I was really tempted. If I haven't already got like 30 tripods here, and I probably would buy one. That's
the thing, it's heavy. They don't go very high, but they extreme. Once you understand the principle, they're extremely flexible. Not flexible, bendy. Flexible in how you can set them up. So, for example, I do a lot of product shots on the table. With a regular tripod, the legs, you can't get the legs close enough to get the camera close enough. But with this, you can just rotate the column into a boom and go as close as you like. And it's also quite a good copying stand, because if you set the column to be like 45 degrees, you can just go up and down, but the camera stays level. So it's quite good for copying or photographing slides or flat lays or anything like that. But most people I've tried to convince hate them immediately because they're just weird. They're just weird.
It's weird, and I think the only thing, I like the design and the concept and how easy it is and flexible it is. The only thing that I probably I wouldn't say dislike but criticize is the size when it's collapsed. So it's not as compact as I would like to see.
It's not compact at all. No. It's a sort of tripod you take with a very definite purpose in mind. You're not going to carry it in case you want a tripod. You know, it's quite they you're either going to have it in its own bag on a strap over your shoulder, or you're going to need quite a hefty backpack if you're going to strap it to your backpack. It's not a terribly portable tripod. You wouldn't go hiking with it.
No.
But then if you if you are a nature photographer and you don't mind carrying a bit of extra weight, there's nothing quite like it. So
yeah.
So
John Young actually say that he never carries a bag anymore, just hanging on his neck, 2 cameras, 2 lenses.
Yeah, I just can't settle to having a camera on display on a strap or over my shoulder. I don't know why.
There's nothing wrong with it. I always hang around my neck.
Yeah, I just put a camera away. It's just me. It's just me.
Yeah, I don't mind. I always hang around with it.
The downside to that is when I do get a camera out, there's no strap on it. So now and again, they do tend to get dropped, which is not great.
No, definitely not. Just to wrap it up soon, and while we were talking back, I'll just look at some of the comments. Donke bag. Remember Donke bags? Yeah.
I think they're still around if you know where to look.
Yes, they're very popular in the States. I think it's a US brand, and but in the UK, just because we have Billingham, that's probably why. You know, they're both canvas bags basically, but there are 2 differences there, and the Donke bags are very rugged. You know, I think they were used by military, if I believe. And then, so canvas is a very tough material to start with, and I think the canvas that they use is a treated canvas to make it waterproof.
Right.
And but the difference between that and Billingham is Billingham actually used a butyl. It's like a rubbery material that bonded to the canvas material. Yeah. So I think in terms of waterproofness, I think Billingham is actually quite a bit more waterproof than Donke bags, and just because how it was constructed. I think, and also not like submersible waterproof, but like rainproof. Yeah. Oh yeah, like rainbow. But Billingham can withstand like heavy downpour, and so it's that kind of different. Even though, because the top layers is still a canvas, so it may look like it's soaked through, but if you look at the back of it, it's completely dry just because of the rubber material behind it. Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing that would convince me to use a neck strap.
Yep.
And that is so that when I change lenses, I don't need 3 hands.
Yeah.
Because you can just let the camera hang while sorting out the lenses, can't you?
Yeah.
I just realised I've been doing it wrong for about 20 years. That's embarrassing.
Actually, speaking of changing lenses, does anyone use or have ever used these lens pouches that you fit around your waist? Remember we had one of those stuff, right? You know, you did that back in the days. Yeah,
they were popular for a while, but then that's one of those things that sounds like a great idea until you actually use them.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you're trying to get on a bus or a train or trying to get out of the car. Yeah. And your lens pouch is jammed on the handbrake, or it's just awkward having stuff on your waist, I think.
Yeah. I don't see people use them these days, but you still see like low pro selling them.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many of them they actually get sold, but I still see them around with various different sizes.
There are lots of things in photography that look really smart till you actually use them. And then you see they're not.
No. I mean, to be honest, we started carrying that many pouches, but I'll just use a shoulder bag, to be honest. It's probably a lot easier and probably more protective, if you ask me. That is very very funny to still see that. I thought they would have given up the idea altogether already.
Yeah, and Chuck L doesn't like anything hanging off my belt. I understand that because it depends on the shape you are as well, because sometimes you don't need things hanging off a belt.
Yeah.
It can basically drag on your trousers can be very what's the word I'm looking for? Undignified. It doesn't do anything for the fit of your clothing. So I don't hang stuff off a belt.
Funny, I'm just looking at, because we just been talking about Donke bags, so it's now part of Tiffin Company. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And
they were there.
I don't think they were ever that cheap either. I mean, they were quite expensive. No. Yeah, so they're kind of around the kind of Billingham sort of price range.
There weren't very many different models either, I don't think.
No, they're definitely more utilitarian kind of design and very functional. Definitely very rugged, and I personally haven't used one. I mean, I've seen my friends using them, so but since because I have Billinghams, I don't think I need another canvas back. And I prefer the more coloured option of Billingham's offer.
Yes.
They just haven't made a yellow one for me yet, so I'm just still waiting for that to happen.
Thank goodness. That's the day I change brands.
Yep. So listen, guys, if anyone want me to buy your bag, just make a yellow one. It's so easy. So anyway, I think it's time to maybe wrap up our chat today. It's a very general chat just to get together a little bit and reflect what we saw and talked about at TPS or just over the weekend. It's certainly very good. Like I said already at the beginning of the chat show today, I'm going to make a video from the TPS. Just a general summary first, and if you're interested in individual interviews that we had with all the pro photographers, brand representative, because some of them we do have a very long conversation. So we're going to put them as individual videos.
One thing we didn't get a chance to talk about, definitely check out the video interview we did with Alan Schaller with the Iris photography app. That's very interesting.
Absolutely, we definitely do that. And I don't know anyone familiar with Alan Schaller. He's a British street photographers and also currently a Leica ambassador. You may actually seen his channel. He's quite a funny guy and and definitely a character. And he whatever you see in his channel, that is basically him. When we chat to him, he had the same sort of tone when he speaks, same sort of energy as well.
So Iris is basically like a startup app where you pay a subscription in exchange for which there are no ads, no AI algorithms, just a community of photographers whose work you can actually see without being, without it being
no ads, no algorithm. No algorithm. That's all he said. No algorithm.
No algorithm.
For now.
Stop it.
For now. Anyway, but you should listen to all this interview that we did. So I'm gonna let you guys know. Of course, you'll probably see the channel anyway once the TPS videos are up, and you'll see, like I said, all kinds of interviews, all sort of talks that we did individually. But right now we produce a summary of that video. So you'll see all kinds of stuff that we play with as well, so that's pretty cool.
I'll leave Jimmy to edit that. Because he's got to get about 2 hours of video down to 5 minutes. So good luck with that, Jimmy.
I'll try. Look, I've been filming for 4 days. Imagine 4 days of footage. That's a lot of stuff there.
Incredible.
But it's still fitting my 512 gig memory card, so I'm surprised.
Okay, well done.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh, someone wants to see me with the IV Dolly. You will see that. I guarantee that. You will see that. You'll see that. Yeah. Because
comes with a hydrating drip.
Oh yeah, it comes with a little cup holder too, right?
Cup holder, that's amazing.
Yeah, so you will definitely see that. And anyway,
well,
thanks a lot, guys, thanks for tuning in. We had a good time. Probably I will give it a miss next week, Rod. Just because I need to tidy up my office a little bit and starting to sort out my space here, and to revamp it a little bit because I got quite a new thing. Well, a lot of new things I want to install here, which is beneficial for you guys to hear in the future. I think Rod and I also discussed a lot about, maybe doing a little bit more educational stuff like editings and things like that. So it'd be good to me to revamp the space so we can maybe do some kind of demo. I think, Rod, would you think it's a good idea?
Yeah, maybe so. And maybe if enough people are interested in ours, I've got it installed. Maybe I'll have a little chat about that.
Yeah.
It's got some interesting community features.
Yep. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good
stuff.
Okay.
All right. In that case, I just stay tuned for my announcement for the new talk. And if I see you next week, I'll see you. But very likely, I'm going to give next week a miss, so I can just sort out around here. And otherwise, I will see you next time. Okay.
Excellent.
Bye for now.
All right.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Cheers.